Hello and welcome to Move the Line, presented by SharpStack. I'm Ryan Noonan, joined here as always by Connor Allen, unpacking a little bit of week 3, talking about week 4. Also want to discuss some futures, divisional prices, award markets. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, not much. I'm coming off just an absolute bloodbath of a week 3. It was a tough one, but it happens. It happens. It's like the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago was fine. This week was just, woo. It felt like everything that could go wrong went wrong. The Falcons lose 30-0 to the Panthers. Like we had a Penix under pass attempts. TreVeyon Henderson ends up being the workhorse because there's 3 fumbles there. Kenneth Walker, I get in heavy. My bags are packed at 54.5 rushing yards. I'm blasting all the plus EV bros, from OddsJam who thought I got a 56, 57, closes at 80 rushing yards. He has, I think, 16 carries for 38 yards, something like that. 35 yards of penalties called back on his runs. I'm not tilted at all. Even then, even 16 carries for 50, 60 yards, whatever he would have gotten at that point. That's still a shitty outing. But would have, kept us afloat. So super tilting week. Glad I didn't play anything last night. I was, again, enjoyed the game as a spectator, and I'm sure we'll dive into that, but ready to get back on the wagon. I think Thursday there could be some good opportunities. So,
I should have known that it was going to be a wonky week with the Thursday Devon A-Chain stuff. Again, another massive LCLV spot early, 29.5. That closed at almost 40 receiving yards for A-Chain, and then all the scorekeeper, rush attempts, all that stuff just got real wonky on Wednesday. And it's like, there are signs here. There are signs. Should probably limp into the weekend a little bit. Kind of did. Actually did have a lower volume weekend, but I was with you. We were waiting for that Thursday report for Seattle. If we were going to get another, DNP for Charbonnet. We knew it wasn't going to be a play that we were going to be able to share for subscribers per se. We tried to do our best to be able, say, hey, this is kind of what we're trying to do. But I think we all had this money. We had started sitting, waiting to hit submit. We get that DNP Sharbs, fire away. And yeah, just runs so bad, get in so good, and then just runs so bad. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just the nature of the beast. You're just going to have, variants and game states that change. And all of a sudden, it doesn't really matter how good your CLV is. You just get absolutely handed to you.
It's funny because this is now, I think, maybe the second or third time that Kenneth Walker has just, cost me serious amounts of money. There was a time last year where I used to do round robins with Dalton Cates every week. And we did a 4-legger and we hit all the other 3 alts. It was $80 won us 10 grand, 80 yards won us 10 grand each, 100 yards won us 50 grand each. He had 78 yards at halftime. He finished with 77 yards in the game, and they're winning. They were winning. And I was on a plane. I got on the plane. He had 78 yards, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to land and be rich. I'm going to be, this is going to be great. And I won nothing. Well, I still won a little bit because you round robin the other, 3 legs, but yeah. Talk about disappointing. Jesus. So this guy, he's banned forever. I'm never betting on this motherfucker again. I'm so, I don't care. If his prop is 15 and, Charbonnet's out, I'm not betting it. Just kidding. I would bet that.
Hitting the under. Yeah.
Hate him.
Yeah. It was rough. Yeah. That's it. It's going to happen. No excuses. Be better. No one cares. We're just, sharing what happened. We're not, totally. Necessarily complaining. Oh, we are complaining, but you know what I mean? Just sharing the nature of our experience through it.
It happens.
It happens. Right? You tell me that's the game state for last night's game. I'm banging Zay 67.5 over all day long, right? And just a ghost. It's 3 minutes left in the third, gets his first target or whatever. Just insane way.
Bracketed, or was it just lower play volume because the lines are a 9-10 minute drive, or what was it?
So I tried to watch it back this morning. I didn't finish. It felt like we're not going to see it play out in the data in terms first read. It felt like he was looking for him, as I felt like he knew we got to get Zay involved. And then just it on the back end, we can't, didn't have all 22 yet. So, it feels like he was getting a little bit of extra attention, but yeah, just didn't happen. Again, I'm going to make that bet every time. And I think that's the important part of this process is when, that line opens for Achane at 29.5 with his involvement in that passing game. And, we expect to see that game play out as double-digit underdogs on the road. I'm making that play. We're making the Kenneth Walker play at 54.5.
Yeah, totally.
Time. I tweeted out, I put Zay on a milk box, which is actually, I was thinking too, as I'm doing that, I'm like, that's a fairly dated reference as we move into 2025. Like that was a thing back in the day. You buy a carton of milk and there'd be like a picture of a missing child on it. That's obviously not anything that we would have. Probably an experience that you've never had being significantly younger than I am, but that was a thing. So
what are you talking about? I'm trying to go and look at this.
So I tweeted out a picture of a milk carton. This is great. I was thinking about it when I was tweeting this. Oh. I bet Connor doesn't even know what this reference is.
This is pretty funny. Yeah, this is good. Don't know this. Yeah.
In the 70s and 80s, and again, not 70s, the 80s, but that was a thing. Like there'd be times where you would actually on the side of a milk carton, they'd put a missing child like picture. Like if you've seen this kid, let us know kind of a thing, which is wild. So it's just basically like a have you seen this person meme. And I'm like, this is actually nowhere. Someone that is like 30 or younger, no point of reference for side of a milk carton, which is just kind of an interesting thought that we
not at all. I was talking about like cereal boxes, like they'd have like players on like cereal boxes, as like that's all I got. But this is funny. This is a funny tweet. That's Did you use AI to make this? Like, how did you make this?
Yeah, no, I used AI to make it.
Yeah, right. I was like,
yeah, that was great. Thanks to AI. So yeah, rough week, but hey, what are you gonna do? We're gonna get back on the wagon. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get back on the wagon for week 4, and we're gonna do that here now. I want to remind folks to check out SharpStack. It's our new suite of betting tools over at 4for4. EV tool is awesome. I actually had a really good week limping in with some stuff from the EV tool. Probably should lean on that a little bit heavier. Again, it's just one of the many tools. There's Pick'em tool, ARB tool, prop screens alone. I think is huge help. Lots of middles there, which I need to probably explore a little bit more too. Free 7-day trial available for you right now for 4.com/plans. Use promo code MTL. You can get 25% off if you subscribe and take advantage of that. Again, gets you access to everything that we do at 4for4. Gets you in the Discord for all the picks, articles, tools, all that stuff. So again, free 7-day trial. Check it out. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd love your feedback. Continue to add things. I know even on the odds screen today, there's now a bet type summary where I can look at both the sides and the total in one look, which I absolutely love doing instead of having to toggle but back and forth, which is great. So again, don't forget to come back for Move the Line prop drop on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Connor and myself, high slop, building parlays, uncorrelated parlays, giving some prop bets. Again, wherever you listen to podcasts, 4for4 Live on the YouTube channel. So biggest takeaway week 3. What do you think back? What do you think was something that's going to be important moving forward or something that was an anomaly? Thoughts on week 3?
Yeah, I have like 3 to 4 big takeaways. I would say, my biggest ones, I'm not buying the Panthers just being all of a sudden back after beating the Falcons.
Weird game.
Touched on it a little bit on Mayo's show, but it was kind of like the 2 missed field goals put them in a weird game script. And then, so like, could have easily been 7-6. They go into halftime 10-0, come out, pick 6. Like it's just, it's really tough. And then, so at that point it's 17-0, and then you're basically just trailing. The running game was fine, but not, great. And Penix just played one of his worst games I've seen, as a pro. So I'm not buying that the Panthers are that good. They they looked better offensively, but not awesome. And then the Falcons, I think, are an interesting bounce back candidate this week against the Commanders, potentially. So I don't know. I think that was one of my bigger ones. I don't know if you had any thoughts on them.
Yeah, you said the game got out of whack. I would say that Bryce Young did a good job at getting the ball out quickly comparatively. They brought the house. They blitzed 63% of the time and didn't really get home very much, which compared to what happened in week 2 for the Falcons, where they blitzed a ton and got home a lot against Minnesota. I understand why they would take that game plan in. It's not like Bryce made them pay. Again, he just was smart getting the ball out quickly. So yeah, I agree. I still think that the Panthers are one of the worst teams in the league. It's a nice bounce back spot for the Pats this week to get them to come in after the Pats played with their food. I don't even know what to say about what the Patriots did. To be actually even competitive to turn the ball over 6 times is crazy. But yeah, I'm not buying the Panthers' resurgence here. And so yeah, I think it's probably a decent bounce back spot here. 5.5, 6 or so on New England for week 4, which I think is pretty interesting. What other week 3 thoughts do you have?
Yeah, I was waiting for the Patriots stuff here because I mean we're 10 minutes in and we didn't get there yet.
It was tough, man. It was a tough hang.
I was pissed too because it like they didn't throw the Steelers didn't have to throw the ball anymore because the DK Metcalf didn't hit. Like Kenneth, it would have put Kenneth Gainwell well out of reach if they had to throw anymore. Henderson wouldn't have got as many carries if they wouldn't stop fumbling. So it totally messed up so many of my bets. Yeah, I mean that, and the Steelers just I don't think they're a very good team probably at this point right now. They're not playing that well. But hey, I mean, you got they forced the fumbles technically. I mean, I don't know if that was a skill or just luck, but which almost certainly some amount of luck, but I don't know, maybe they're just a ball hawking team. But anyways, another takeaway, I'm not going to overreact to the Bears offensive output against the Cowboys. Okay. I don't want to say it was expected because nothing can be expected from the Bears offense, I think, at this point, but it was definitely a good sign. But it's not like, oh yeah, the Bears just figured it out. They're good to be going forward. They're going to be fine. I think that is, and they have a decent landing spot here though against the Raiders, who I don't think are a very good defense either. So I think we're going to see a good, but not nowhere near kind of game that we saw from Caleb last week. And then they have the bye. So coming off of that game, I'm not expecting them to be some elite offense, but I do think that they can be competent. 2-2 heading into the bye. I mean, that'll help a lot of people forget about the early season. It's over, that was a lot of the thoughts in Chicago was 0-2. Caleb's not the guy. Ben Johnson's overrated. The defense sucks. The defense does suck. That's still a thing. The defense definitely sucks.
Yeah. Injuries too, right? So it's really hard to make up for, your 2 best corners being out, and good teams will be able to pick on them still for sure. So I'm with you.
Defense sucks because they're injured. They're actually not bad. They're just bad because they have 3 best players out pretty much.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. I think that's another good spot. I think we're just going to have to put in the context of what we see every week coming out of Dallas, right? And just kind of remember to find our common ground coming out of that. And it's all right, well, at least you took advantage of it. That was kind of our problem with some of the other stuff. I'm hanging on to that with the Jaguars, for instance, or even the Falcons. Maybe I need to, to figure out how to understand what happened last week against a pretty bad Panthers, even though that game got out of whack, as we said, you got to take advantage of those softer matchups. So Green Bay will take advantage, I'm sure, of the Dallas matchup this week. It got worse. I mean, no CD for a couple of weeks, interior offensive line issues for Dallas. They're down real bad, real quick here in Dallas. So that's going to get tricky. But yeah, the Bears, look, I mean, Marcus Mariota, they had a bunch of explosives in that game. Caleb still wanted to push the ball down the field. There could be some real chunk plays back and forth between Bears Raiders here this week. Bears, kind of a little bit of different numbers out there. It's kind of hovering around to pick them a little bit on each side. If you want to shop that around, 47.5, 48.5 is the total. So that's another one kind of kicking around some key numbers that I think is going to be interesting. I think Hunter, our side's a total guy, played over in that spot at 48, which I understand. And again, there's still 47.5 out there too. So yeah, I'm with you. Cautiously optimistic that there is some good coming out of Chicago and Ben Johnson and Caleb when they get into soft landing spots. Dallas very much is that. And I still believe that the Raiders are that too.
Yeah. And I think too, when we go back to the beginning of the season and our preview, I think that we were okay, we're cautiously optimistic on the offense. They're going to be better than they were last year, which they already are. They're already definitely better. And they're going to take steps forward. If Caleb keeps getting better throughout the season, yeah, maybe they win 7 games. Maybe they win 6 games. Maybe they win 9 games if things break right there, then in the season. That's all possible. But I think the key is is the offense looking better? Are they actually moving the ball? And then from there, I don't know, you have you at least know where you're going. You're on the tracks, in moving in a direction. Whereas before it just seemed kind of lost. And well, are we starting over again? Like if it's like a complete disaster, basically.
Yeah. That would be a complete disaster. And there's
Yeah,
so much
it's still
optimism.
possible. It's still
Yeah,
possible.
no, it's true.
Yeah, like Mitch Trubisky had a great game against Tampa Bay, and when he was in like in 2018, he threw for like they scored like 50 points on him. You know, it was like it happened.
Bears fans do not want to hear that. You invoking the name of
Mitchell,
MVP Mitch to contextualize Caleb.
That's don't even get me started on the Fields, people get the Fields slappies because that's like he had like one or two good games, but I felt pretty good that he was not the guy very quickly. But I don't know. We'll see. Caleb is fine. He'll get the hang of it.
You think you have one more?
Yeah, one more. There's some rumors swirling that Jackson Dart is going to be starting this week or next week, basically. Not surprising. Russ lit up the same Cowboys team that we're talking about in like negative game script. Again, not surprising there. Has been hot garbage in the other two games. Got your rushing prop though. He did get your rushing prop, which is awesome.
Yes,
I saw him scramble a couple of times, and I'm like, hell yeah! Noonan got his prop because this guy sucks. I mean, he was awful. They're bringing in Jackson Dart for these RPOs and like more play calls, and I'm like, what are we doing? Just put him out there. Like, what do you got to lose at this point? You're 0-3. Your team looks basically lifeless outside of the Dallas game, who also is just like dead.
Again, contextualizing that, like, right? Like, you can't really give him, and at least you took advantage of it, but you don't earn a lot of credit moving forward out of that as you start to play competitive NFL teams.
Chargers are going to beat the piss out of them. Some 6-point favorites on the road. I think Chargers are going to win by like 20. I mean, this is going to be a rough one, I think.
Yeah. I think that number actually has baked in like Chargers aura on it. You know what I mean? Like, like this feels like a spot where like Chargers fans are finally like, are we allowed to feel this? Is this actually something going on? We're 3-0, all three in the division. Things are kind of clicking. It seems like our guy is taking a step. There's all these good vibes happening. And it's like, are we going to go to the East Coast and get slapped in the face by the Giants? Like, yeah, I don't know. I agree. I think they're a really good football team and should be able to handle the Giants. No problem. So
yeah, it does have some of that weird, like, West Coast traveling east, like weird game. Maybe Russ plays fine, or maybe they start Jackson Dart. Like, I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
all possible.
If it's Russ starting, I'm with you. Right,
yeah.
The unknown of the juju that can come out of Jackson Dart, I would understand why someone would have a little trepidation, but I don't know. I'm kind of buying the Chargers, and that's maybe another one of my takeaways.
Yeah,
for this, and part of it is like, again, the 3-0 is great, but 3 in the division is just really impactful as we get to. I still think the division's pretty strong. We touched on the Chiefs extensively last week. Not ready to bury the Chiefs per se. I still think Denver's a really good football team. I haven't looked great offensively yet, but I still think this is a playoff team for sure. The Raiders are going to be competitive occasionally. So to be able to start 3-0 and get those 3 wins in the division is really, really nice. And then it opens up schedule-wise. And look, it might be a team that on paper defensively is just doesn't jump off the page at you. But we have like a year plus now, right? A year and 3 games of Harbaugh and Jesse Minter just dialing up really good defense. It's a great running defense. They're top 3, and like I think they're tops in success rate against, top 3 in EPA per play against, finding ways to really win. Hopefully they can kind of stabilize until Khalil Mack can come back. But and then coinciding with feels like a leap, right? Like Ladd's still really good. QJ is a guy now, apparently, right? At least not an absolute bum that you can just bury unders on. I feel really good about moving forward. I'll let you speak on that. But like,
no, I mean, I was wrong there. That was another L. Like, I mean, we kind of got. I mean, there was like a 40-yard catch in the beginning that he just like the whistle didn't blow and they let him go. So, but he still would have gotten there anyways. Like he's like the featured part of their offense. He's kind of year three. He's figured 4, year 3 or 4. He's figuring it out. I don't know. I mean, Devontae Adams was trash his rookie year too, and ended up being awesome. Like he had like the worst success rate against like coverage in Matt Harmon's reception perception history as a rookie. Like dude was just not getting open. And then comes out and is just awesome now. So, I mean, definitely not betting his unders anymore. I mean, guys just seems to be dialed in. But yeah, I agree with the Charger stuff. Like they're a good team. And then also, I don't know if you want to touch on any Broncos stuff. Bo Nix's metrics are awful.
It's bad.
Second worst pass or third worst passing success rate, I think, right now. 6.6 ADOT, negative EPA, negative completion percentage over expectation. It's not good.
No. Are you worried about moving forward?
I mean, we have a full season of him making the most out of like very little. A couple games early against, the Chargers. And yeah, I mean, like I'm not. It's not time to like sound the alarms of like it's over, but it's definitely not a good start.
Yeah, I still believe the roster's so good that they're a playoff team, considering that the AFC is kind of a mess, and that back end of the playoff picture is definitely there for them to go out and grab, considering like we really haven't seen much regression from the defense. Like they're going to regress a little bit because some of the stuff they were doing last year was insane, but still a really, really, really strong defensive unit. They're really not even using Jahdae Barron yet much. I'm sure just getting him comfortable. It's another weapon that they can use in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I still think that they're going to be around, but the Charger stuff is real. Like what's the price? They're, I think, significant favorites, almost like minus 180 to win. Yeah, they're minus 180 to win the AFC West. Just
wow.
Has the Kansas City Chiefs in it. And we're in week 4, and the Chargers are minus 180 to win the division. On DraftKings, just looking there, I'm sure if you price it around, it's got to be in that range.
50 MGM is best price I'm seeing, or minus 155 FanDuel, but still, like that's pretty hefty. Chiefs plus 270 DK is best price if you want to buy low on them. They're gonna figure it out. I'm pretty confident they're gonna win plenty of games, and they somehow almost gave the game of the Giants there for a little bit with the strip, again, like after from Mahomes. But
yeah,
I was pretty confident they're gonna find a way to win that game no matter what. Russ was lifeless.
Yeah, he's not long for it. And did you get down on that? I know that Jackson Dart prop in the preseason and the games played, or
it was 4.5 starts. It was at underdog. 4.5 starts. Because they were like basically putting like they have a week 14 bye. So it was like basically, does he come in after the bye in week 14? And I was, we were pounding the table. There's no shot that Russ lasts that long. Because they get the Chargers this week. And then I think after that, it's still really tough. Or the Saints, Chargers and Saints, who also really, really suck.
Saints are pretty rough.
Yeah, it's not that surprising, I guess. But I mean, Seattle absolutely blew the doors off that game.
Yeah, we expected that. 17. Pinnacle's out to 17 for the Saints-Bills game this week, which is just...
You laying it?
Oh, my gosh. No, but I would never take the other side either, right? Like it's just not my style of action for sure. But yeah, I mean, it just is a matter of like it's just a backdoor situation, right? Like, do they take their foot off the gas, and does Josh sit in the 4th and on the road? I mean, it's a tough ask. Maybe we can get some full line Rattler stuff, and maybe we'll look at some Rattler unders if they are priced as full lines, because we got a little bit of Tyler Shuck late in that Seattle game. I can see that a little bit here if things get wonky again. So putting that on your radar if it's not already. If you get 2.5 quarters of Rattler, unders would be a nice little look. So
yeah, that would be good. I think the problem is that they might throw the ball so much. So like I like the under on that. It's just one of those things. We're gonna have to see what the number comes out at, because like if it's priced a full game, then yeah, definitely gonna play some speculative unders. You know what I mean?
Correct. I feel like we're in that range now for Rattler and Russ in particular, where you can possibly start to play those just speculatively because you have a chance that they just play a half or
parlay. Yeah, here Brian's good point here. Bills alt against the spread. If we get it, so play Bills minus 20.5 or 21.5. Play Rattler pick, and then Rattler under, and you parlay it all. Just like that's like, does he get benched basically mid-game parlay?
Basically,
which are fun. I think those are fun fun for me. I don't know if anyone else enjoys betting on that kind of shit, but I do. I think it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, you land the plane on that, you're feeling pretty good about yourself, you know?
I think we got one last year, didn't we? Or we were maybe, I think we did get one last year. We got a mid-game benching one. I don't remember who it was, but those are fun. Those are good ones.
Yeah. Look, it makes sense, right? We have a coach in New York who second week in a row is reluctant to put his stamp behind his current starter. You know, it's in New York as well. Let's not forget what's going to like the crowd is going to start to get real rowdy. It's a coach that's still trying to hold on to his job. Like there's a lot of things here where even if Russ gets named starter, be real tricky for him to hold on to this one. So
there's a Twitter rando reporting that it's going to happen already. And he has no credibility. It's like, I mean, well, he works for some like small media company, but he has no like real credibility. So who knows? Twitter randos are like, they bat like maybe 10%, 5% on stuff that's not actually reported, publicly. So what can go wrong?
I mean, I'm just trying to think if that was me, right? You're trying to gain a little clout. You throw some stuff against the wall, and if something hits, then we need to watch this guy. He obviously knew something, right? So it's just like there's no downside for someone like that throwing that out there. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying like just from pure.
No, I can tweet it out, be like the team is making, considering making a change here. Like we'll know more tomorrow or something like that, or like very likely to make a change. And then I'd be like, oh well, they're pushing it to next week, something like that. I don't know, like.
Follow for more updates.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Maybe I should start a random account and just do that. Just start breaking some news, some fake news, but you give yourself outs. Maybe the next Pretty Ricky.
Do you want to talk week 4, or do you want to look at some futures stuff?
I get buzzed through some week 4 stuff real quick. We already touched on a couple, so it's like
let's buzz through some week 4 stuff.
I think Seattle money line on Thursday, really interesting.
Agreed.
Definitely in on that. Even if some of their guys are still out, I think we're on the same page there. Atlanta at home we touched on. Chargers -6. Maybe wait for Russ for start news if there is any there. Colts +4. I know we were Oppo on. I know you like the Rams. We made a bet on Mayo's show there. Just like a friendly, Monday morning Mayo show bet, which I think will be a fun game to watch. Another great litmus test for the Colts on like if they're actually real or not. And then I think the Ravens -2.5 are an interesting buy low, but man, they're getting kind of slapped around a little bit by some of these good teams, huh?
Lamar did not look good. It was rough. The defensive stuff has not been as good. I'm not, just small sample stuff. I'm just not a buyer that the defense isn't good, but they haven't played particularly well. Like they were gashed at times on the ground. They didn't get home, and Goff was able to pick them apart a little bit. It felt like I was a little nervous because again, I felt like a couple of the injuries. Kyle Van Noy was out. Nane Abuke in the middle, who's again one of their best run stoppers and interior pass rush presence, out of that lineup last night. I think made a pretty big impact. And I think the Lions, more so than anything, my biggest takeaway is that we kind of need to put the Packers week 1 game in its own tier. The Lions are still very much an NFC contender.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that. Did some more research on it as well. I think maybe Ryan Heath from Fantasy Points brought it up. It was like after the Lions fired Anthony Lynn in like 2022, Dan Campbell took over as the play caller, and immediately they went from like last in play action rate to like 10th. And then like Ben Johnson came in and it was like similar. And then obviously he like helped elevate things even more. I think that's pretty clear that Ben Johnson's a pretty good coach still, but that like I personally drastically underrated like Dan Campbell's impact on the offense because I think he still has his hand in that. Like it's like, yeah, I don't know if John Morton's is a really good coach, and I just underestimated that. But I think that based on some of that, like dug a little bit more, like it seems like there's definitely an impact there still. And so, yeah, I mean the Lions are still a good team. Definitely underrated them coming into the season, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, still really good players. It's fine. Funny how we do it. Like we want to give Ben Johnson a ton of credit, and he deserves his flowers for what he's been able to do. And there's a reason that teams are tripping over themselves to bring him in. Right? He could have had the Carolina job. They really wanted him. No, he could have had the Commanders job. They really wanted him. No, he held on for something that he wanted. So that happened for a reason. But at the same time, like we can have really good coordinators and then we just don't give them any talent. And then, all of a sudden it's like, well, it's not really indicative of the scheme. They just don't have guys that can make plays or separate or complete passes. So whether it's Morton or not, whatever's continued, that Dan Campbell still has his finger on, they still have Jared Goff, who is an above average quarterback in this league, Amon-Ra, JMO, Gibbs, leaning on Gibbs more. And that duo, I mean, Demont still has the juice too, right? So,
I mean, dude, this is crazy. Like, I mean, he got caught from behind though. That was funny. It's like, that was like the biggest knock on him. And like, he didn't have like the breakaway speed, but he's just like so hard to tackle, and like so shifty and like can make guys miss. So
athleticism of Sony Michel, Remember he had the graphic? It was feet of Saquon. Yeah, it was athleticism of Sony Michel.
Dude, I was like, I remember I used to write like a dynasty column for Roto World back in the day, and I had David Montgomery over Josh Jacobs like in my thing, which probably doesn't look that great in hindsight, but like it was like them two clearly, and then I don't remember who else. And I got so much hate for it, and I was like, no, David Montgomery is awesome, guys. Like he's gonna be the man. Like he's a great pick, and he's awesome. Like he's just such a good player. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's really never not been good, right? It's
been solid.
Yeah.
You know who could use David Montgomery? The Bears. The Bears could absolutely use David Montgomery right now. A guy to get them 4 yards when they need 4 yards, and then maybe pick up an extra here or there. They don't need a guy who can maybe get them 20 or -2 7 times in a row, which is what they have right now in DeAndre Swift. I mean, he sucks. Like I just like every week I'm like watching him. I'm like, dude, this guy blows. Like I can't fathom how bad he is. Like he just won't do the simple stuff well.
You don't miss an opportunity to dunk on DeAndre Swift.
So. I don't understand. Like I just don't get it. They gave the ball 14 times last week. He looked awful. Like he looked so bad. Like occasionally he has juice, but he just doesn't make the right decision. Like 90% of the time on where to go.
Yeah, it's not great. I thought Roschon could really carve into that, but that seems to not be happening either too. So tough.
It might be over.
Tough scene. Yeah. I'm with you on some of that. I think the Seattle money line, like you said, on Thursday night is a really good look. Not buying what we've seen in the Cardinals. I don't know how anyone could. We got an early morning game, Minnesota. Yeah. We saw this game last year. We saw Minnesota against Aaron Rodgers in Europe early, and it was like 17-0 before the first quarter. I saw enough of the Steelers last week. I don't understand this 2.5. Give me Minnesota 1,000%. I will lay the 2.5. I'm okay with a 3. Bookmakers and -3 plus 100, but 2.5 is readily available across the market. A little juicy, but Minnesota 2.5 I think is I don't care if it's Carson Wentz. Like just to me, this is Flores against the unscripted 15 of Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers. They were really good in the first 15, their first scripted part of the game. It was a disaster outside of that, and I think they can tee off and give Rodgers nightmares. So I'm in on the Vikings for sure.
Dude, I agree with you on paper, and like everything I think about this, I just get a weird feeling that like Carson Wentz, didn't have to do much. Like, I don't know. I just get a weird feeling that betting on Carson Wentz might end up hurting me. Something in London. I agree. If you play this game, I don't know, even in Pittsburgh, maybe at home, I don't know. Like the Vikings probably win more times than not. I mean, the Steelers just keep chugging along and finding a way to be scrappy or not scrappy and do. It's like a very weird vibe. It's like, I think it's probably the Steelers just might be that team for me this year where I'm like, it's not betting on this team. Like this is they're going to lose to the worst team in the league and then beat someone randomly good.
That's kind of always been the Steelers. I feel like even when they were really good back in like the, Triple B's day and like when they were, firing all cylinders, they would always have that game where they were, that they money line parlay killer, they're 8.5 point favorites. They should roll and they go and get absolutely destroyed. And it's like, what the heck happened? So I'm not buying it. I like the defense. I think it's better than it's played, but they also just kind of like the Bears. I mean, it's better than the Bears, but they also have had cluster injuries, and that's a problem for them right now too. And that was kind of masked a little bit last week with turning New England over multiple times in scoring position and, inflating kind of what happened there. So yeah, buying Minnesota, and I get it. I'm not like banging the table for Carson Wentz. This is just like, I
They
don't
should get
see
there. I mean,
it
just
should
even
get
running
there.
the ball. They should get there, run the ball, get out of there. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Some weird snake.
The defense can create some points, right? Like,
Totally.
pick six or strip sack or something that happened, repay the favor for what happened in New England last week. So yeah, in on the Rams as well. I actually, this is not even like an anti-Colts take, honestly. Like, again, we're on the opposite side of that game, but I think the Colts are viable. I think there's some stuff here that's real, but I think the Rams and how the Rams win and what the Rams do well is a bad matchup for what's going on with the Colts right now. Kenny Moore is still one of the best slot corners in the league. He's out. He got hurt late in that game against Tennessee. They had to pull Mike Hilton off the scrap heap, who got cut in Miami.
Mike Hilton.
Couldn't
I haven't heard
Mike
his name in a
Hilton.
while.
Yeah, exactly. Miami signed him when they had a bunch of injuries. He couldn't make the team, and they cut him. Now the Colts are dusting him off this week to play slot corner against Puka. So yeah, I like I like Puka, and I like the Rams here in the spot, feeding their alphas. So that's kind of my
I was like, man, this guy's been around for a while. I had no idea like where I was like, man, this Mike Hilton guy's been around for a minute. And so yeah, it's crazy. He's just, I mean, he should probably not be in the league anymore.
Yeah. Long time in Pittsburgh, long time in Cincinnati, and yeah, they moved on. And willing tackler, kind of the early tackle days, Mike Hilton was a dog. I know we got some nice playoff Mike Hilton numbers back in the Cincinnati days a couple of years back. So last one, then I'll touch on some futures and award stuff. Browns and Lions. What do we make of the Browns? Touched on a little bit with Mayo. Again, the Lions are obviously looked decent, but like that was kind of 10 and a half and look aheads. Lions look pretty good, but now we're to like 8.5. Thoughts on Browns or Browns Lions?
Yeah, Brian mentioned here too, the Browns good. I think the Browns defense is awesome, like top 2-3 unit right now. They're playing like it. The Browns offense really still sucks. I mean, Quinshon Judkins, I think, is giving them some juice, but which I think will help Flacco in the long run. But it felt like anytime they tried to drop back and pass, like he was just, no one was open. He was under pressure. If he did have a clean pocket, he made a bad throw. Like it was just not clicking at all. And maybe that was maybe a Packers thing. I mean, the Packers have played awesome defense for the most part this season. So yeah, I think that. But I mean, the Lions also, I think their defense has played pretty well despite a couple injuries. They're getting pressure though. Hutchinson's obviously key in that factor. And so like I don't think these things get really easier here. So like, if you made me pick a side, I'm probably picking the Browns, but I don't love it.
Yeah, that's fair. Injuries too along the offensive line for Cleveland makes it a little bit trickier moving forward. They lost Daquan Jones for the season, so yeah, Hutch is a beast. He complicates some award markets too, which could be a lot more fun if he would just chill out. But that's just seems to not be his style.
Are you? I mean, I don't know how I missed this in my initial run through here. Niners -3 against the Jags. I know the Niners are just injured to hell, but like I want to fade the Jags, man. I think they just suck. They just every time I watch them, I'm come away so unimpressed.
I agree. That's the last one that I wanted to say too. Is just I'm with you. Just finding ways to fade the Jags. Their defense has been better. The run defense in particular has been really good. I don't know what to make of that. I think there could be some schedule based stuff in there, right? Like there's some injuries on the offensive line for the Panthers, who they played in week 1. And there are obviously offensive line issues and run game issues for the Texans. So I think there's some inflated schedule stuff that's telling us that the Jags run defense is better than it is. I think heading into the week, though, they were the only team that hadn't missed a tackle heading into the league or into the week. So, they're playing clean at least, which is good to see. I'm just not like a believer that this is suddenly one of the top 5 or 10 run defenses in the league. So yeah, I want to find ways to fade the Jags, even though just an absolute mash unit for the Niners. Like every single week, we're losing a key contributor here for extended period of time.
Yeah, you want to talk about a unit that's like, I mean, talk about a break here. You play the Panthers, then you play the Bengals with Jake Browning, who you let up 240 yards and 2 touchdowns to. But you have 3 picks, so your EPA looks pretty good. And then you get a soft landing spot against Houston. So, like, yeah, their metrics are like, 3rd in success rate right now allowed, 2nd in EPA per play. Yeah, I'm not buying that at all. I mean, the Niners. Yeah, I'm going to bet the Niners -3. That's like, I don't. They're already banged up. They're trotting out nobodies, and I think they'll find a way to win by 3 or more.
Yeah, Purdy's back. CMC looks solid. Pearsall, I think is a guy, whether Jennings is in there or not. Like they're good enough to find ways. And I want to fade the Jags for sure. So I'm with you on that. One's a good call. Three out there in Circa bookmaker. There's some 3.5 Caesars. There's some 3 still out there, which I think is good. I think we start to move towards 3.5. FanDuel's already there. A few others are already there.
The last one, Packers -6.5 still at some points against Dallas, at Dallas though, which again sucks, but
I don't care.
Like they're just so much better of a team in like every facet. Yeah, I mean they ran into a tough matchup last week. The Browns did exactly what they needed to do against the Packers, plus got really, really lucky at the end. And the Cowboys are really bad.
It feels like just an over adjustment on power rankings, right? This feels like even if they win and like sneak one out, the Packers are probably like 8.5. Maybe we're on the other side of 7. I don't know. Like, and it feels like this Dallas, Brian in the chat too agrees. Like this Dallas crowd could turn on this team real quick, especially if Micah starts doing his thing against a beat up offensive line. Mike has been awesome, not surprising, but like it has magnified everything that we thought it could happen in terms of all this other young talent on that defense that just everything gets a little bit easier. Like Rashawn Gary has got 4.5 sacks. Devontae Wyatt, another first-round pick a couple years ago, has been awesome in the interior. I think he's like top 10 in pressure rate for all linemen, not just interior defensive line. So he's been real good. So there's just a trickle-down effect that's real. I'd snatch those 6.5s before they're gone. So we seem to like more sides and totals than normal this week. I think it's an interesting week.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those weeks where I feel like we're in a good point of like, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on who most of these teams are at this point. And I think that there were some wonky results last week that we can like fade or lean into even heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. All right. Some future stuff. Buzz through some of these. You can, circle back, or I'll do the NFC first, just a divisional favorites. -220 for the Eagles. And I'm going to reference DraftKings because I have it open. You can look at anything and probably shop around. You probably will find some discrepancies, but Eagles -220 to win the division. Any thoughts on anyone expanding into, threatening there with the Commanders at 2.25? Obviously the Cowboys and Giants are dead, but you feel like Eagles at 220 are probably the right side?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much on the Commanders, honestly. Like they would have to be them just like continuing to hang on without Jaden and then figuring it out. But I still think the Eagles are like a way better team overall. Yeah. So 200, I don't know, maybe short, to be honest.
Might be short. Yeah. Chargers one's interesting. Minus, again, like you said, 55 or so, -180 on DraftKings with the Chiefs at 270. Broncos at 650, Raiders all the way out to 35-1. The Chargers really, the rest of the division stuff is going to come late. They're going to clean up here for a little while. While I think the Chiefs are viable, it feels more and more like it could be to make the playoffs versus division. I don't think that either of us are running the lay heading into week 4 on the Chargers to win the division, but I'm also not trying to take the other side of that.
No, because Chargers are on a tear. I mean, I think if you do want to make a bet, it's probably Chiefs or nothing for me. I'm definitely not laying it on the Chargers right now, but I think, they're playing really well, so it makes sense.
And the Chiefs thing gets longer next week if they lose to Baltimore, right? So you're cooked out to probably 3 and change at least. So that would be the way to enter in if you wanted to. Packers, not quite as short as they were yesterday. They're down to -110 to win the North. Lions +170, Minnesota +550, Bears at 28. Again, stylistically, these are not bets that I think you and I like to make late September, but any thoughts on the current board?
Yeah, lean Packers. Then we already saw week 1. They're just like kind of a tough matchup for the Lions because they match up really well against them. If they can play good DD defense and pressure Goff, just naturally without throwing too much crazy shit at him. I think that's makes it really tough. So yeah, with lean Packers, again, probably just not laying -110 at this point.
+110 for the Niners to win the West. It's a little bit more interesting. Rams not too far behind, almost 2-1. Seattle about 6-1. Cardinals +750. Again, Cardinals, I'm just, at 2-1, still not buying. Again, injuries and the way that they've played. Not sure what's going on there. The Niners stuff just continues to come back to the schedule, right? The preseason schedule, we knew it looked soft, still looks super soft. It's just really hard. Like we're still, it doesn't matter what's going on injury wise, is still going to play some of the softer teams in the league. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the Niners, I mean, if they were healthy, like even remotely healthy, this would be like an easy play for me to just continue hammering the Niners. But they're not. Like when you lose Bosa, when you lose, like Jennings hasn't played, Ayuk is still out, Kittle is out. Like it's really tough when you're losing all of your best players. Purdy hasn't played, but they're still making it work with Mac Jones. So I think they probably find a way to get it done. But day by day, week by week, like their guys are dropping like flies. So if I had to make a play, probably right now it's on the Rams, to be honest, and just like you want to think injury luck will get better, but like it's already so far down like the hole. Like in my opinion, it's only gonna get worse. Like I don't know if it's gonna really get better, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you start to have these cluster injuries at a position, right? Like it could get better, but you also could start to lose the second, third, and fourth guy at certain positions, right?
So if they lose Ricky Pearsall, like who are they?
Or Trent Williams, right? Like
yeah,
the problem.
Like
there's a lot of Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne and Jordan Watkins and like I don't know. I mean, like, who's their wide receiver 6? Like that's like basically where we're at this point.
Yeah, it's not great. The AFC, a couple I feel fairly confident in, and the Bills are minus 2,000.
Yeah, that'll do.
Already. All right, like Pats at 17-1, Jets and Dolphins at 100. They battled this week on one of the 2 Monday night games. Ravens minus 370, probably still too short with not really buying the Steelers with what's going on injury wise to the Bengals. Browns at 25. AFC South, Colts at minus 155. It's just fascinating to me. The problem is like I don't believe in any of the other teams. That's like, again, my like reluctancy to really go and back the Colts is not really about the AFC South at this point. Like it would be really surprising. 155 is probably short. I'm just not buying Jacksonville. I'm not the Texans. Like I'm out on Stroud. The defense is good, but like what else is going on there? It's not great. So again, I'm not jumping to lay 155 on the Colts, but I think we both think it's probably the right side.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, minus 140 on FanDuel, I think is like, it's good play.
Yeah.
I don't know if I advocate for divisional parlays at this point in the season, but it'd be kind of fun. Like, combine like, Colts, Eagles, Bills. Like, there's a couple of them that I feel pretty strongly about. I'm just don't really want to lay minus 140 for the whole season. So I don't know. I think it's kind of fun.
And in the South, the Bucks injuries, Mike Evans going down for an extended period of time. Looks like they're getting healthier, I guess, with Tristan Wirfs coming back and Chris Godwin coming back. The offensive line still had, a bunch of injuries. They're struggling a little bit, but they are minus 425 to win the South. Falcons at 6-1, Carolina at 12-1. I know we don't think the Saints are viable, but I don't know, man. I wanted to make the case for the Falcons coming into the season. It's really tough to get behind them with what we saw last week, but thoughts on the South?
Yeah, I think if you want to buy low, probably now for the Falcons. Maybe things don't go well for the Bucks injury wise. Like if Wirfs doesn't come back well, or Godwin's like they roll him in slow, and then it's just basically like Igbuka and Baker Mayfield. Like they're going to lose plenty of games coming up. It's just like if that's the case. If not, and everyone's getting healthy, then they're the clear favorite and they're going to win by a lot. So that's the case you have to tell yourself, and that we don't see whatever we saw from Michael Penix again, basically last week, because that was just a disaster.
If you are a chalk donkey and you want to currently back all 8 of the favorites right now, Bucks, Colts, Ravens, Bills, Niners, Packers, Chargers, Eagles, like 23 and change on DraftKings.
I think I would probably leave out a couple. Like I'd probably leave out like Niners. I'd probably leave out Packers.
Yeah.
Probably leave out Chargers. And then probably just parlay the rest. That's probably like lowers it by a lot. Those are like the
3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. I'll just I'll bet on something else.
3-1. Colts, Bills, Ravens, Eagles, Bucks, plus 294.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You can use one of their boosts, Connor, and lay 875 to win $24. Yeah.
I mean, after
last, I was
year,
early. Check out the slip. Just don't include the money. Just like, look at this. Bet this in September, guys.
I'm gonna I'll edit it, just like, that seems to be a common theme. I'll edit it and be like, oh, look how much money I won, and I'll add some extra zeros. I don't know if you saw any of those fake slips on Twitter. They're so funny, dude. They're hilarious.
I saw the I don't know what it was, like the Fiverr request that someone was looking for like a graphic designer that can edit bet slips. It's like, holy cow, this is where we're at. It's like a real thing. Like,
dude, yeah. And because there's a really good one last week that they made the FanDuel slip, and then so like, the FanDuel thing like has like the 4-leg parlay, it is like the amount, then it's like the names in small print, and then it has like the big blocks of each. So the names in small print didn't match the names on the slip. So there was like Harrison Baderer was in there, and he's not even listed on the 4-leg slip. And then like the money amount one in the corner was so clearly like photoshopped or whatever. It was so good. Like, I mean, these guys are just a bunch of clowns out here.
This is why we from the jump have done things the way that we've done things. We outsource tracking, third-party tracking. It's a public sheet. I don't have edit access to it. I can view it just like anyone else can. We link it on all of our articles. It's pinned to the top of our Discord. Like, we've tried to do this through the lens of transparency because our peers, I guess I would say, in the space, like at this point, like the waters are so muddy that, in the sense, from like someone that's entering the space to consume betting content and trying to buy picks and get, like, they are looked at as our peers, which is wild. They're doing it in such a shady way that we just like, hey, look, we're going to do what we do. We're going to stay on the up and up. We're gonna, and again, we've each been profitable for every single year that we've done this. And it's important to us, right? And that's not to say that we're not going to have a down year at some point and have a losing year, but you know what? It's going to be on the sheet. You're going to be able to see it. And it's just going to be how we're going to do things, and it's how we're going to operate. And if you find that to be valuable, then I think you'd like to enjoy riding with us. But like that, we're always going to be combating that stuff where it's just like, look at this capper. I love the other stuff that I've seen too is someone's like aggregating the the different Discords and the Dub Club winners
stuff. Yeah. It's real tough.
Some dude's down so bad, like thousands of units. You go into his account and he's got 20,000 Twitter followers and I'm sure a bunch of subscribers, and it's like, dang, that's tough. It's like, anyway, MVP, Josh Allen, your favorite. Lamar a little bit behind. Allen at plus 250 on DraftKings. Lamar 3-1. Herbert third, 5-1. Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Jane Daniels, Baker, Mahomes, all short of 20. I like starting to get into this market, but it's still a little bit early for me. Any thoughts on MVP?
Yeah, I think if you buy the Rams like ascending and winning the division, 28-1 on Stafford's not bad. Just because, like, given the fragility of the Niners right now, I think they could easily end up the Rams could make a run and end up winning the division, winning a lot of games, and that could make sense. Hurts being that high up in MVP hurts my heart a little bit after some of the Hurts tickets last year that felt good and didn't get there. So I'm not betting on him. But yeah, overall, I don't have too many other long shots that make sense in my opinion.
I kind of agree that Stafford feels almost like the cutoff.
Yeah. All these other teams are just kind of dead. Yeah.
I just feel like we've had some really good Goff years, and if you couldn't get it done then, it's really hard for me to believe that you're going to get it done now. Just it feels like a top heavy award. We'll buzz through some of these. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Emeka Egbuka's the favorite here on DraftKings, plus 370. Tyler Warren at 4-1. Genty 7-1. Ted McMillan 750. Hampton 750. Ward 750. Then right behind it with Scatterboo, Junkins, Dart at 20 or so. I've always thought it's going to be a really hard award to beat a quarterback that's going to make every single start. Though currently, Ward at 750, not your favorite, but anything kind of jump out to you there?
I think Hampton and Tet maybe are pretty interesting.
I agree.
Like Hampton without Najee, like he hasn't played all that well, but he played much better last week. Like they're going to keep getting better. They're going to be winning a lot of games. He's going to see a ton of work in the receiving game. So like he's going to be, if he can outplay Genty, which I mean, so far technically he has, like, not by much. It's a pretty low bar, but like I think he should be probably closer to Warren Igbuka. And then I don't know if Scadaboo will do enough just because the Giants are so bad. But if Dart comes in, like he's going to see a ton of work. Like that would kind of be fun there. And then Judkins, I mean, Judkins is like their workhorse. Like he's their guy, 20-1. That's, I don't know, kind of a fun one, I think, there. Or if you buy I think there's a lot of like uncertainty. So I'm not taking any of the top of the board. The Travion Henderson stuff, like Stevenson fumbled twice and Gibson fumbled once. Like they're definitely going to use more Henderson now going forward, I would think. We'll see. I don't know. But like 30-1.
Travion's cooking this week. He's cooking this week. We're getting some Travion.
I'm not
off
betting
Matt.
I'm retired on Travion and Kenneth Walker, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you on the Hampton and Tet stuff. I think what's interesting here is that not all these awards are tied to team success, but it is a tiebreaker in a lot of sense. Again, there's narrative, right? These are just votes. It's not, it's personal opinion at times. So unless you really separate, I think you will see some voters, lean up a little bit more, and each of them are different, but I do think team success is intrinsically tied to awards more so than, other stuff here. Defensive rookie of the year, Abdul Carter, plus 230, John Campbell at 7-1, Mikael Williams 9-1, Schlesinger 10-1. Love seeing that. Jalen Walker at 10, Shamir Stewart at 12 makes no sense to me. Pierce at 15, Hunter 18, Mason Graham. Shout out to Mason Graham. Played really, really, really well against the Packers. Like was a force. And again, playing next to Myles Garrett helps. It's kind of where I would cut it off, I guess. Xavier Watts is playing really well, but I'm not really worried about the Falcons getting in there. Feel good about my Schlesinger 60s. That I have there now that he's down to 10. I'll say this about Abdul Carter. So they've had a lot of injuries at linebacker. Last week against the Chiefs, he played more traditional LB2, but also still blitzed a ton from that spot. So that impacts his tackle numbers, and blitzing from the second level impacts his pass rush numbers. So Abdul Carter, just from a pure numbers standpoint, isn't really going to get it done in this current alignment. Like he's not going to get a bunch of sacks from where he's at. He's not going to get a bunch of tackles from where he's at. So that's interesting to me. I'm still in on the Schlesinger thing at I have 60s, but 10-1. I like where we've moved there. Nothing else really jumps out to me deep down the board.
Yeah, I don't have much to add there. We do have some news that Titans head coach Brian Callahan relinquishing his game day play calling job to QB coach Bo Hardigree. I had to look up who that was. I didn't know who Bo was. 41 years old. His resume, can't say it's all that inspiring. Last 2 years with the Raiders, year prior to that with the Patriots, 2 years before that with the Jets, and then 2016 to 2018 with the Dolphins, 2015 with the Bears. I mean, is this guy coach for a single good team? Like, I think all these offenses were complete ass, bottom 5 in the league. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go through and probably tweet about this because this is a horrific resume.
Yeah, it's tough. We tried to talk about that yesterday on the Mayo Show. Callahan, first coach fired. It's kind of interesting. This is the start, right? It's a new ownership group that moved on from Vrabel because of smaller stuff. So right. I don't know. That's interesting.
The OC for John Fox. That's what he was hired by, John Fox, and then was hired by Adam Gase. Oh my God, this is great. This guy's hidden. Have you seen those LinkedIn posts, the fake LinkedIn posts where it's every company that went bankrupt in the last year, basically, you're on your resume. It'll be FTX and whatever the Sam Bankman-Fried one was. Anyways, it's this guy's checking all the boxes.
That's this guy.
Oh my God. QB coach under Josh McDaniels. Oh my God. This just keeps getting better.
Oh. Sorry, Titans fans. Cam Ward might be okay, but it's not great. Jonathan Taylor your favorite offensive player of the year currently at 550 on DraftKings. Puka's at 850. McCaffrey, Bijan, Henry, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, all kind of in that 10-1 range. Anything jump out to you? Offensive player of the year? I mean, it's Jonathan Taylor's been awesome. So is Puka.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's a tough fade at this point. I mean, he's playing like every snap. He's crushing. Colts are crushing. If you think the Niners keep winning, CMC is probably a good one. He's going to be the heart and soul of that, on pace for like 140 receptions. So yeah, I don't have too many other like long shots here either. I don't think that there's. I mean, if you think Malik Neighbor starts going nuts with Jackson Dart, that could make sense. JSN's crushing, so like 35-1 there on DK is not a bad one. If you go further down,
he's been awesome.
Yeah, other than that, like I don't really like too much, to be honest, down the board.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year, I think is very interesting because this one has actually really been tied to team results. You just can't be on not only a bad defense, but just a non-playoff team. Micah 3-1, Myles Garrett 6-1. Myles Garrett's the best defensive player in the league. He's just not going to win defensive player of the year if the Browns are winning 6 games, right? So, which is not. He'd have to break the sack record and just be like insane, right? And it could happen, I guess. He's that good, but that makes it really, really hard. Hutch at 6-1, it was 10-1 yesterday. So he's moved, and that makes a ton of sense. Will Anderson Jr. versus Max Crosby, TJ Watt, Nick Benito, all at 20. There's a pretty big teardrop. Might get 3-1, makes some sense. Obviously, he starts to put up some counting stats, has some big plays in some primetime spots. He's massively impactful. Hutch at 6-1, I think, is also very, very, very viable. I have a long shot that I really like. I liked it a little bit more when Hutch wasn't necessarily doing what he did last night. Derwin James is as long as 100-1 in some spots. Some books that I know people struggle to get down on have like 150-1. Derwin James has been awesome. It's been awesome for a long time. He's been particularly good this year. They use him all over the field. I don't even know what position you would say Derwin James plays. He's a safety by numbers, but he aligns at safety so infrequently. Like he plays like 5% of his snaps in like traditional safety alignment. He's on the edge. He's a linebacker. He's a terror, and he's been awesome. So if this team is going to win 11 to 12 games and have one of the best defenses in the league, and they don't have, with Khalil Mack missing a bunch of games, they don't have like another dude. It's almost like a lifetime achievement award for a team that is really good. And you don't have like Mike is good, but doesn't have like huge counting stats, and like Hutch is good, but they back in and the Packers win the division. Like there's a path for Derwin James to be significantly shorter than 100-1. So I really like that play as a long shot. I think it should be significantly shorter because he's a baller and he's been a baller for a long time. So Derwin's kind of a nice long shot.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool one. 100-1, you said?
Yeah, he's 80 on DraftKings, but I think FanDuel has 100. I think MGM and Hard Rock have like 150s. Which again, I know you're not gonna be able to get down much on that, but
don't mind it.
Yeah. So I think he's interesting. Busted the last two. Coach of the year. DraftKings has coach and assistant coach, which is interesting. I like having the assistant coach.
Okay.
Shane Steichen, 380 for coach of the year. Harbaugh, 650. Those are the only two shorter than 10-1. I do not understand Liam Coleman at 10. Mike McDonald at 12, I think you could sell me on. Shanahan's there at 12. LaFleur at 18. Bowles, McDermott there as well. Vrabel and Dan Campbell. Ben Johnson. There's a big group at 20. Any coach of the year thoughts?
I mean, this award is really tough, honestly. But yeah, I mean,
you have PTSD here.
Yeah, I have a lot of PTSD. Shanahan at 12, I don't think it's bad. Just if they keep winning with like this, you could definitely make a case of him just like overcoming all these injuries. Like I think that makes a lot of sense. McVay, if they end up like winning the division, like the vice versa of that. So I think both those are probably kind of fun ones here. Other than that, I mean, if the Colts keep mowing, like Steichen's got this on lock.
Yeah. Assistant coach is fun. Jeff Hafley is the favorite defensive coordinator for the Packers at 5-1. Jesse Minter at 7-1. I think is a great look. Again, this is kind of the same narrative that I just built for Derwin James. Like Minter's the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. Again, The Packers are in the way a couple times here for the Chargers with Micah and Halfley, but I think those are really nice in terms of prices. Nothing else really jumps out to me. I'm guessing you haven't done a lot of assistant coach of the year research, but if you're looking at it, anything jump out to you?
No, I mean, should we bet on Bo Hardigree? I mean, this guy sounds like a real winner. I know he's not even listed right now.
Probably not listed. Yeah,
he's not listed for good reason. I mean, he will be listed at some point. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton. I mean, if Colts defense plays better, maybe some Lou Anarumo stuff. Like if they keep winning, like
sure.
I mean, that could make sense. He's 40-1. So like, I don't know. I think that could be a fun one.
Yeah, going down the board. Yeah, this is tough. I mean, Calvin Shepard, if the Lions keep playing like they did last night, could be interesting. Yep, but yeah, Halfley and Minter, I think, are deserved favorites. Yeah, that would be kind of where I would go in that market. So that's all I got.
Yeah, interesting. I got one quick Sharp Stack shout out before we head out here. Brian brought it up. Crushed Tesla under 16.5 yesterday. It's a nice bankroll builder. We also have for Thursday, Michael Wilson under 26.5 is popping on Fliff and Hard Rock, I believe. It's down to like 21.5, 21. Yeah, 21.5 on Novig and other sites. Like, it's a lot of yards. I think I might take some unders against the Seattle defense anyways, to be honest.
Yeah.
Haven't done my full research yet, but I bet it while we're like live. So
nice.
I think a good bet.
Yeah, check it out. Like a 7-day free trial. Right? There's no risk. Free. Just 4for4.com/plans. You'll see the plan all the way on the right. Opt in for the 7-day trial. Take advantage of it. Use promo code MTL if you decide after 7 days that you want to move forward with that. Again, it gets you access to everything that we do. Gets you in the Discord, every tool, article, all the projections, all that stuff. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Again, reminder, come back on Friday for Prop Drop, 3 p.m. Eastern. Move the line wherever you listen to podcasts, 4for4 Live on the YouTube channel. Connor, again, is another wedding. He's traveling. He's going to be in Baltimore. But maybe he comes up, shows up with a few adult cocktails, lying in his tummy, and gives us some absolute bangers. So maybe we get some unders on the show from Connor after a few drinks too. So we'll see. TBD on that.
When I drink, I just play overs. That's the problem. So I might maybe get some overs on Friday. Who knows?
Just get loose and get optimistic. So appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Again, come back on Friday. For Connor, I'm Ryan. We'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.